Hello and welcome to another Plus One segment. Joey's not here. Well, he's here, but he's not in the studio today. He's on Zoom, and we got a special guest. We have St. Mary's head coach Sean Driscoll on with us, the 2-0 Spartans, with a hot start to the season. How you doing, Coach?
Good. How you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for taking some time to chat with us. I'm just going to get right into it, man. Your team is off to a 2-0 start. We could talk about the offense, but the defense really has stepped it up to these first two games, back-to-back shutouts. Just what's working on the defensive side of the ball for you guys?
Yes, defensively, I think, the basics of the game is, getting off some blocks and getting to the football, and very good team defense and everyone doing what they're supposed to do, and that's basic defense. I think we're doing that very well. There's always going to be mistakes and missed tackles here or there, but as a unit, we're doing really well at some of the little things that are making us a good defense.
Offensively, though, you got some new guys on the team that had to get adjusted to the program. But how have they adjusted, and just how have you guys been able to make those adjustments with the injuries that you guys had at the quarterback?
Yeah, so as we lost in the first drive of opening week against Swampscott. Unfortunately, we lost our quarterback, Belliard, to an injury, which was frustrating at times. But we, had some pieces in place. Rowan Merriman has done a great job filling in for him, and we're real comfortable with him at the quarterback spot now, and he's getting better each week, especially with now the extra practice time. Usually the backups don't get as much as the starter, but I will say that he's been doing a fabulous job leading the football team, basically the whole week 1 and week 2. Mm-hmm. So he's been great, and obviously we love to get our quarterback back eventually, but he's hanging in there. He's getting better every day, so we'll see how it turns and when we can get him back. And other people that are new players in the program have really adapted fast, which is huge for us offensively. Obviously we're not too complex, which is good, and I think that offense will get better each week.
Yeah, go ahead, Joe. You got questions? Joey, you got any questions for Coach?
Yeah, Coach, how you doing?
Joe, how are you, bud?
Doing well. Gloucester Friday, I just wanted to ask you, a pair of undefeated teams, Friday night lights, it's bound to be pretty physical. What's the message to the team heading in, kind of managing that physicality, but not going overboard, taking penalties, stuff like that?
Yeah, so obviously we have to keep our composure, and I think Gloucester is back to what Gloucester used to be. I think, in the 90s and early 2000s, a very physical program. I got the chance to see them play last Saturday against Falmouth, and I will tell you that I was very impressed. They seem to do a lot of little things, especially offensively, and what they're trying to do is control the ground attack, and which is going to make for a physical game because you have two types of teams that are kind of the same. A lot of seniors, a lot of veteran players on each side, looking for have a successful year, and I think it's going to be one of the better games on the North Shore this weekend.
Yeah, what is it about Gloucester? What's one thing that stuck out to you when you watched them this past weekend?
I would say their offensive and defensive lines. I think they're physical. I think their play at the second level on defense is very good, and they have a slew of running backs. 3 backs or so, they can spread the ball out. And they have a very, very good fullback, which in their offense is probably key for that offense to make that run. And they're a very physical team. And you know what? Those guys, it sounds like they've been playing together for a long time. And this is the year they really put it together. So, and the thing you notice right away, as soon as you get there and you watch them play, even watching them warm up, you can see they're extremely well coached. And Dan's doing a great job there. And like I said, it's going to be a challenge for both teams, and it should be a really good football game.
For you guys, your front line, the offense and defense, it seems like those guys have really set the tone for the team. Am I correct? Because they've been.
Yes, going into the year, we told them that's going to be the key to our football team. Is offensive defensive line, and I think a lot of guys returning from last year's team was a little frustrated in how it ended in that first round, and obviously we didn't play well in those positions last year in that playoff game or the last 2 games of the season. And I think they got a little taste of success the last couple of weeks, and it's shown in practice. They got a little more pep in their step, and they're working hard, and they're taking the coaching and They've been great so far this year, and I'm hoping that it continues and they continue to get better. It's week 3, and there's a lot of concerns as a head coach for how your team is doing in certain areas, and we're progressing pretty good, but we still have a long way to go when it comes to some basic stuff up front on both sides of the football.
Coach, anytime a team's going to go far, I mean, when we talked in the preseason, you said the goal is to, be around during those state title games, state semifinal games. Every team that goes that far has got to have great chemistry, a great brotherhood. How has that been going in the locker room, and is everyone enjoying themselves?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's some great relationships, and sometimes at a private school when you have maybe 4 or 5 different cities or towns that are coming in and men together. But like I said, these kids have been together for a little bit now, and for this year and previous years. So I am extremely impressed on how they handle themselves and the maturity that's coming through. And I think our goal is this, as I say all the time, we want to compete in every game, and we want to try to be there, obviously, at the end, like every program does. And it takes a lot of discipline and a lot of hard work, and it's a grind. So as far as being a physical football team and doing the little things is what we're trying to, install on them. And I think that we're getting there. And I think this week will be a big challenge for us this early in the year to see where we're at.
Awesome. And my last question is just about Tyron Hound from Lynn Classical transferred over to St. Mary's this year. How's it been having him? Because he's very energetic and very passionate, huh?
Yes, I'll tell you, he's a great kid. We're glad to have him. We're fortunate to have him. He's someone you'd want around your program. I only wish we had him for 3 other years before that. Mm-hmm. He loves the game, studies the game, knows the game well. And like I said, he's a quick learner, and he's a big part of what we do on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, Coach, the benefits of that 3-headed backfield, right? Late in games when you need to run out the clock, you got the speedster with Jennings, then you got the power with Rowan and Tyron. Just how much of X factor is that, just having those 3 different types of backs in your backfield?
Yeah, it's great to have options and different things when certain part of the game might not be working. You always have someone else to go to. A lot of those guys, they play both sides of the ball, so they help each other out by being able to rotate through on defense and offense. But as far as those running back tandem goes, that's one of the better ones that we've had. And they run the ball physical. And then you throw in Matthew Lule as well in there to make 4. He's coming along. He's getting better at the position. So we're pleased with the way they're performing, and it is very good for a football team to have some depth at a lot of spots, and that we feel we do have that on this year's team.
All right, Coach, I know we got to let you go. Busy day for you as you prepare for this week's opponent. You guys will be traveling up to Gloucester to take on the Fishermen. 7 p.m. kickoff or 6 p.m. kickoff?
7 p.m. kickoff, yes, and I look forward to going up there. I'm sure it's going to be a great atmosphere and a good night for high school football.
All right, Coach. Thank you once again for joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, that is St. Mary's head football coach, Sean Driscoll, that's joined us. Coach, we'll see you soon.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
All right. That was Coach Driscoll, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Now me and Joey got to recap week 2. Man, Joey, week 2. Woo. 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 Woo.
It was a good one. It was a good one. Some teams are, very energetic, standing at, 2-0.
Right.
But, a couple of our other Lynn teams are winless, but that doesn't mean they weren't positive. So yeah, I'm ready to talk about it.
Yeah. Let's start with Lynn English at Swampscott. That was a really intriguing game. I just watched some of it the other day, and they say in sports, turnovers will hurt you, and that was the difference in this game. Was a pick 6 pretty much decided this game. A late interception in the second half, put Swampscott up 20-12. English did score, but didn't convert to 2-point conversion. You got a 20-18 final score, but that interception was pretty much the difference maker right there.
Yeah, absolutely, and I know. I know I tend to always look at some of the positive things about this, but it was just fun to see 2 teams who have a rich history kind of going at it. At Bloxage Field, there's nothing better than that. and it came down to the wire. I think both teams showed what they can do. English is only in its second year with Coach Tyler McDonald, while Swampscott's sporting a very young freshman, sophomore heavy side. So, like you said, turnovers were the difference, and I think English can definitely learn from this one.
Yeah.
And no, good for Swampscott. So bouncing back from that St. Mary's loss in week 1, and they stand at 1-1.
Yeah, the Bulldogs' running game was very effective in this one too. They did do some things on the ground, but yeah, they just gotta. It's just the little things that they gotta fix so they could get that win. And they're going up to Peabody, I believe, this week. Not the easiest place to play. A very a unique team offensively too. That they do a lot of things offensively. So they gotta. I mean, if they play the same way minus the turnover, they could come out of Peabody with a win. So they just gotta negate those turnovers.
Yeah, absolutely. And Peabody, a rough first 2 weeks, only 1 touchdown score. They're 0-2. Lost two games by double digits. So we'll see who wins that battle. Both coaches want to win in that one Friday.
Lynn Tech, they kicked off their season this past Friday. It was their season opener. They were off the prior week, but they got a quarterback got injured, but still, it was a great showing. That was another really good game by both teams. A 3-point win for the Tigers, 27-24, I believe was the final score. But overall, offensively, the Tigers look really good offensively.
And just talking to Coach Runner, he's typically an excited guy, but he was really excited after this one. Very proud of his players. I think that's the big word there. He was very proud, and he was having fun. The energy, the atmosphere there was great. I was there for most of it. I had to leave before, newspaper deadline time. But a lot of good individual performances. They got some defensive stops in the second half that proved to be the difference. So Lynn Tech is making some noise, and I'm excited to see what they can do.
And they got the young man back. I believe Anthony Brown. They got him back. He missed all of he played one game last year, but injury derailed him last year, and he looked as good as he did in the first game. And he had a couple good runs. So as he gets back into that football shape, we're going to see a lot more of Anthony Brown in that backfield, making some big plays in the backfield.
And the defense and the offensive line, Coach Runner was very, appreciative of their efforts as well. Really good team win.
Right.
I think that's all we can say. So excited to see them go for 2 in a row.
Yes, they're back at Manning Field on Saturday. Was it Monty? Who were they playing?
Yep, Monty Tech.
Monty Tech, they're playing Monty Tech. That's a 6 p.m. game at Manning Field. That's the only game in the city, so they should draw another big crowd for that one. And then Lynn Classical, they had a tough one. It looked like it was going somewhere. They were only down 8-6. Everett scored, then Classical came right back and scored it to make it a 2-point game, but then Everett got a score right before the half, and then things just went off the rails. So, it's Coach Smith still trying to get that first win for his team, but he'll have a chance Thursday when they visit Medford. But I think the Rams they just gotta get a little consistency on the offensive side of the ball, and I think this should be fine.
Yeah, they've shown flashes, I think, in both games. Staying toe-to-toe with Everett through one half of football is no small accomplishment. That's good for the Rams. Unfortunately, I think just the depth kicked in the second half, and then we saw week 1 Classical, go back and forth. That was a good game. So lots to enjoy, but like you said, just touching on your point, consistency, I think the effort's there. So I think Coach Smith and company, they'll get those first few wins very soon. Yeah,
they have Medford tomorrow evening, 6 p.m. That's a road game. So hopefully they get that one and get Coach Smith his first win of the season. Kip Academy, we just talked to Coach Driscoll. They fell to St. Mary's. Their quarterback was injured. They got Manchester Essex coming to town this Friday. The most important thing is the health of their quarterback. You gotta make sure he's healthy and good to go. Because was it Pena? I think he filled in at quarterback.
I was just gonna say Avian Pena, deserves a shout. He had a great game filling in, essentially knowing that he was going to play quarterback only 2 days in advance. So he at least held his own and ran the ball really, hard and tough against St. Mary's. Yeah.
Yeah. It's an 0-2 start for the Panthers. Once again, that's another team. Offensively, they just got to be, these first 2 games, they haven't really been consistent on offense. They had one glimpse of consistency in the third quarter against Salem, but overall, they haven't played with the same sense of urgency on the offensive side of the ball. So, maybe they'll get that going this Friday. They are the only home team in the city this Friday, as they are hosting Manchester Essex. So you don't want to fall into an 0-3 hole. So let's see what Coach Rabbit does for adjustment purposes to get his team back on the winning side. But yeah, it's gonna be a good week. What are we? Week 3 already?
Week 3.
Yeah, week 3. So, yeah, a lot of good games out there, folks. And, of course, we got to talk about, we got to get your thoughts on the fight. I mean, I think it went kind of how you kind of said it would go. Crawford winning on points. But overall, what did you think of the fight night?
Yeah, Mukala, I don't know much, but I knew that. And Terrence Crawford, man, he's this generation's GOAT, as Max Kellerman said ringside after the match, and just established the jab. He threw punches and bunches. I think Canelo was going just kind of one at a time, trying to land that big shot. It doesn't work against a defensive wizard like Crawford, and I think I scored at 117, 111. So what's that, 9 rounds to 3? So
yeah.
Terrence Crawford, I think the best since Floyd Mayweather, hands down, and definitely the king of boxing right now. I hope he retires, because how does it get any better than that? Yeah. But whatever makes him happy and his team and his family is what they'll do.
Yeah, that is what I was thinking. I was like, what's next? Who's next? Because I think he's pretty much conquered everybody. He's conquered it all. I mean, Canelo is Canelo's top of the line right now, probably the best out there at this point in the sport. So it's like, what other fight is next for him? I don't think there's any that could meet the same caliber as Canelo.
There's guys who are just as good, but there's not the name. And why would you risk that 42-0 record, with someone not with the name of Canelo? I think it was just perfect. I thought the fans were exceptional, 71,000. I think 41 million tuned in on Netflix, which was, you and I are boxing fans, so it might upset us that Jake Paul and Mike Tyson did about double that, but I'm happy Crawford and Canelo at least drew 41 million on Netflix. Yeah,
definitely. Great. It was a great night for the sport. Congratulations to Crawford on that title. But what do you guys have cooking up? What stories you got? Your picks are going to be in tomorrow, Friday, or tomorrow?
Yeah, we'll have the classical game in tomorrow's paper, since it's a Thursday night game. So I did dip a little bit, so Mark jumped me. He's in first place right now. But other than that, we've got some rivalry field hockey and soccer games coming up, football coverage Friday and Saturday, team of the week, player of the week, predictions Friday morning, so tune in to itemlive.com. Also, Mark, we got to get this guy here, man. I don't know how long he's going to keep avoiding coming to the studio. I've tried. It's on you now.
Oh my goodness, man! We're gonna find a way. Either we have to kidnap him and bring him here, tie him down to the chair so he can finally sit down with us. We gotta do something.
I will get him on.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Will you be at the Classical Bedford game, or will that be Mark?
One of me or Mark will be, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm debating if I should. I'm debating on the game I should go to tomorrow. That's on the agenda, but I'm debating which one I should go. But, ladies and gentlemen, that is Joey from The Item. Make sure you go check him out. Go make sure you read the morning's predictions. And I don't know, anybody giving you flack yet about some of your predictions, or not yet?
No, pretty clean so far, but only 3 weeks in, so a lot of room for that.
Yeah. All right, Joey, we'll catch you next week. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been watching the Plus One interview. Have a good one.